right, so my Thursday just got a lot more exciting, a lot more exhilarating. The Pacers just offered a max offer sheet to Deandre Ayton, the restricted free agent from the Suns, former number one pick. He agreed to it. Just a couple of quick notes that I want to point out because everyone is kind of asking me like what could happen next. And here's a few things to keep in mind. The clock for the max offer sheet doesn't start until midnight. So until then, the Pacers and the Suns still have a chance to work out a signing trade. That may not be likely. We'll see what happens with that, but it is something to keep in mind. Either way, I do expect the Suns to match the offer sheet because DeAndre Ayton, you can't just let your former number one pick walk for nothing. And at the end of the day, even if you don't want to pay him that max contract, if you match it, you retain him, and then the earliest that the Suns could be able to trade him is January 15th. They cannot trade him to the Pacers since the Pacers were the one that offered him a max offer sheet, but he could go to the other teams around the league. My initial thoughts on it from the Pacers' standpoint is that it's a super aggressive move. It's a move that I like. It puts pressure on Phoenix to make a decision about their star. It's like, hey, we want him, and if you guys don't, let us have him, and if you do, pay up. So I think that it kind of put gave Phoenix some leverage and put some pressure on the Suns to make a decision. I think that the Suns will match it because they ultimately have to if you're trying to win a championship with an aging Chris Paul. I believe he's 37. He's not going to be great forever. He's been great for a very, very long time. But I think that, you either retain Ayton and try to work things out, smooth things over, and run it back with that core, or you retain him so that you can trade him at a later date and get some assets. My other thought in regard to this trade is that, and this actually just came out, they had to, according to Woj, they had to waive Dwayne Washington Jr., and they're waiving the three other guys that they received in the Malcolm Brogdon trade, Nick Stauskas, Malik Fitz, and former IndyStar's Juwan Morgan. They're going to waive and stretch them. Basically, they're going to clear enough cap space. They didn't have a full cap space, max cap space room available for them, so they had to basically clear that out to get the ball rolling on Ayton for real. So it is kind of sad personally to see Dwayne go. Knew him very well, very humble guy, and kind of had a crazy breakout year last year after being undrafted, working his way up through the G League, working his way onto the Pacers roster, signing a non-guaranteed multi-year deal at the end of last season. Obviously, that kind of comes to an end today. That's pretty tough. So, but I understand why they did it. They're trying to get, a player that has star caliber. If he's paired with Tyrese Halliburton, I think that DeAndre Ayton will be very, very good. If he's the number one option, which he'd likely be here in Phoenix, I think his numbers that he put up in Phoenix, with the 17 and 10 that he put up last year, would be bumped up quite a bit, I think, with the Pacers. So that's something to keep in mind. Overall, though, I like the move. I like the aggressiveness of it. I like that the Pacers are trying to get better. I know they could have gone a couple of different routes. They could have, traded away a bunch of guys and tanked and tried to land, a very high draft odds for next year. But I do like the move to go get a proven player who's proven throughout his career that he's a really good player. 16 and 10 for his career. I believe around 60% shooting from the field. That's stuff that you can't just go out and get anywhere. And he's only 23, turns 24, I believe, next week. So he fits the timeline of Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, and your other young guys. So, again, crazy day. The Suns, if they do not agree to a sign and trade before this midnight deadline, they'd have 2 days to match this offer sheet or let Ayton walk. So they'd have until Saturday at midnight. Obviously, we all have a timeline now for when this stuff could happen or not happen. And, first year on the beat, first offseason on the beat, rather, going into year two. And pretty crazy that, after years of the Pacers never really offering restricted free agents, they go out and offer the biggest, max offer sheet in league history. If I remember correctly, or according to my research, because I don't remember this, I was in high school, but the last time that the Pacers offered a restricted free agent was Chris Copeland back in 2013 from the Knicks. 2 years, $6 million. That is certainly not 4 years, $133 million. And crazy day, exciting times. We'll see what happens, but I do like the aggressiveness on the Pacers' part.